Good afternoon. Today I'm going to try and show you how to make a simple choice board. So again, we're going to start back here in Activities. Click Add, Assign Activity. And when it comes up, you're going to choose Create New Activity. And we're just going to call this version 2. Guitar Subject Template. Okay, and it always asks when you're saving a template even to input student, especially if it's going to go into the school library, you have to have student instructions. So just to make it vague for now, we'll put place student instructions here. And that'll allow you to create a template that other people can use. And we're going to go right to creating the template. And you want to create templates in the drawing area. And we're first going to build like a back page. I'm going to make it in the style of like a notebook activity. And I need a backing. I bring it down a little bit, it makes it easier to see the tools to work with. Under style, I want it to be filled completely in. And I'm just going to go ahead and pick a different color that I know I haven't used. And I'm going to make this a little larger. This is going to be kind of the cover of your notebook, if you will, the back cover. That'll go behind the student work area. Okay, and now we need, in the same color, a rectangle, and that's going to make the tab for your notebook. And the way we do this to match the color, if we click and we're going to, see, sometimes it just doesn't come down far enough. Click and go into Style, Fill, and it's going to allow us to slide it so we can match the color. And that looks pretty close. Oh, I guess I didn't let go. I had it. Sorry. Oh my goodness, it's my mouse. It's my trackpad here. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to pause the video for a second, get that the right color because you can see how to do it. Okay, so I matched it up, and for now I'm just going to rotate it and maybe lengthen it a little bit. And it's going to want to line up right here. Oh my goodness. An artist I am not. There you go. All right, so you just slide it in like that. And because this is going to be a 2-page template, I actually want to copy that again. So I'm going to duplicate it. And it will actually be the second tab and in my notebook. And I'm going to adjust these just a little bit so there's room between them. And my second page in my notebook is going to be a different color. So I'll deal with that in just a minute, but I'll eventually change this color. So let's go put the student kind of work area into this first page. And I want this one to be white. I'm going to fill it. Oh, there we go. Hopefully it sticks. Yep. All right. So then we're going to stretch it out and just give the kids an easier way to kind of see where materials are. And I'm going to lock these. So I'm working on the pink screen now. So those will lock in place and the kids can't move them. I'm still going to do some work with these, so I'm going to leave it. Now, I have my whole top screen situated. But I'm also going to want some work squares on there, like where I'm going to attach my links. So I'm going to again go back, and the easiest one to use to fit things in really is this rounded corner square. So I can kind of eyeball how many of these I can fit. And I can change the color, give something comparable, just like we did the others. Maybe an orange. Let's just go with that. And then once we have one, we're going to duplicate it. So you go to the everything dots and duplicate. Duplicate and spread them out. And again, you can adjust the size of these however you want. It's easier if you do it the first time so that they all match. Just to make it look a little neater. And spread them out neatly. Let's just duplicate this. And again, when let's say you use someone else's template and you don't want this many squares on it, I'll show you what to do. When you come to the template, chances are somebody's locked it. If you don't want this square anymore, you would simply click on it, and you have to go to Edit Activity, obviously, and unlock it, and then delete that square, and it'll go away. But I'm just trying on the templates to add enough so that people wouldn't have to go mess with the background. If you wanted to change your color, you would just go back in to the unlock square and go back up. Let's see if I can show you on this, to this style, and you can change the color just like we did. Click on that. So I'm just going to lock these. So now the first page is actually done. Now what I could have done is left these squares off to make the second page a little more editable. And I could have just started with the background and then the white, but I'll show you what to do here. So we go over to this square, and we want to hit these three dots, and we're going to duplicate the page. So it actually made a second page. I can tell which page I'm on because it puts this blue square behind it. So now the page I'm going to work on is this second one. And I'm going to change the color of this and just something that stands out completely different to the kids so they know they're on the second page. So we're going to make this second page the blue, and then we need to change this square to match. So we're going to unlock it, and we need to be able to get to those pieces. I have problems because I'm working on a trackpad, so it wants to pick up all of those little movements I'm doing. And I'm going to make this match a little bit better. All right, so I can go in and change the colors again. I just need to unlock them. And maybe I want to make these a light green. And really, it's actually probably easier, since I'm trying to do this for you guys. I'm going to show you. unlock. And then just duplicate. Slide them into place. And you want to make sure everything's locked. If you put something on these that are clickable, even after you've locked them, the students will still be able to click on them. The locking just keeps them from sliding all the pieces around like I was doing. Don't know if I did this. Nope. All right, so I'm going to lock. I still need to work with those. All right, so let's go back to the first page. I want to show you what we need to do. We still need to make this match as closely as we can to the second color so that that's all set. I believe I locked these. Yep. All right. So we need to connect these as links. This one is the second page, so we definitely need to link it. So we're going to click here and go to link and link to page 2. If you see this, you know it's correct. This one we don't have to link at all because it's the front page. So now let's go to the second page. This one we need to link because it is the first page in case kids want to go, click it and go back. So you can go to, oops. If you have a link you don't like, you can click it and change it. I really want it to be page 1. And then this one again has 0 links because it's on the correct page that we need it. What we need to do now is add some tab covers. So we're going to go to the text and I'm just going to put subject. Maybe you want to label this for, say, math. And since we duplicated the rectangles, we can simply duplicate this and get the correct size. Just double click in it and backspace, and we can make the second page resources. And I plan to use the resources for like adding anchor charts. Like if this was for reading, maybe I had some anchor charts the kids were using, or a link to a virtual word wall, or maybe a virtual reading room, or there's a help button. I'm going to show you how to put that on. So I'm going to lock these down. And then we have to go back into page 1 and do the same thing. If we had known what the titles were and everything, we could have set that all up ahead of time. So really, if you do everything on the front page and then copy, it does make your life quicker. I think next time I would definitely wait though to do the squares, the background squares for my links. Just easier to not have to delete them and change the color and all. I want to get a little even. Oh, this would be so much easier with a mouse versus my trackpad. Okay, good enough. And we're going to duplicate that. Lock it. Double click. Click and drag. Make it as pretty as you can. And then lock it down in place. So there you have your basic template. you really could design this a little bit differently and put as many tabs as you want. You'll see there's another example in the library that had the tabs coming out the side, like horizontally versus vertically, to make it a little bit easier to type words on the tabs and have many, many more, and it allowed several pages down the side. So I'm going to go to the second page, and one thing I've been trying to do is add a help button. And there's a website called Pixabay, Pixabay.com, and it's all free clip art. So then you just go in and you can search on the front page. I just searched help button, and I like this one because it kind of shows somebody already pushing it. So I see how it changes with some little headings. I just try and hover off of that. And I'm using the snipping tool. If you didn't see it in the other video, if on my Windows computer, if I come down to the right corner and I open up my apps, all the way down in the S's on mine is a tool called Snip Sketch, and apparently it's on most Windows computers. I never used it before. If you right click on that, it opens it up so that you can pin it to your start menu, which is where I have mine. Once it's in my start menu, to be honest, I don't know if you could use it right where it is, but I put it in my start menu. You can simply hit, in this order, the Shift key, the Windows key, and the S, and it brings up some choices to select with it. And I just simply click, and anything I click and drag over, it's automatically saving. I simply flip back and hit Control V as in Victor, which is how you paste, and you can take that item and put it right here. And then lock it in place. And my goal with the help button is I'm actually going to show you how to set up a form and how to make a link. So we could actually use the linking process, very similar to put other links like to websites and things. So I'm in my resources page. So I'm going to go up here and I'm in my school drive because that's where I want my materials to save. Not in my school drive. I was. So I'm going to do google.com/forms. And that takes you to the form site. And it's still bumping me out. Usually I'm completely signed out. I sign out of all my accounts and just into this one. I'm sorry. So it's going to bring me up to my school account. And my school account, in my templates, it says blank quiz. And I'm going to create a quiz. And if you type the title here, it will automatically change it up on the top left. So we want the kids to have a help ticket. Ugh. There we go. So if you put it up here and then click, it'll change it. Sorry about that. So I'm going to put in my first question. I always want my kids' names. So because in our district, the kids all connect with their Gmail accounts, you really, for your own class, first name is enough. But for this, I'm actually just going to put in first and last. So first name. And the kids are going to type their answer there. I want to make it required. I don't need to put in an answer key or anything here because this will be worth no points. Add a question. Last name. Now there is a way, if you knew all the students in your class, which I don't now, you could change this in the top question. I could have chose drop down and it will allow me to enter all of the students' names. Like if this was last name and somebody had the last name of Smith, they could choose that. But I probably would have just put in their first names if this was just my class. So I'm going to change this back to short answer, and that's going to allow them to type their answer in a blank. Again, it's required. And I'm going to say, what subject do you need help with? And then I can use my drop down again where the kids can click on it. Let's say reading, math, science, social studies, writing, and you can put in all your topics. I'm also going to add one. I need help with a computer program or technology issue. Chances are with our age group, there'll be a parent sitting next to them anyway. And I'm going to make that required. And since in second grade we tend to work with all three teachers working in the same group of students, I'm going to put teacher's name. And in this one I would put a drop down, and I'm just going to think positively that we are all in the same group again. This is Bolt. And what that does when you add the teacher's name to the form, it allows you to sort the answers by teacher. So I could pull out all of the help desk tickets for myself and answer those, and then Miss Bolt would have access to this as well and be able to go ahead and look at just her class. So now I'm going to go to responses. Just want to make sure I made that last one required. Yes. I'm going to go to responses, and if I click on this, it creates its own spreadsheet. I'm going to call it help ticket, and you hit create. So in your drive, if you go to google.com/sheets, this will now be there. Because it was a quiz, it's already got the score in. I'm going to flip back to finish out the settings on this, and then we'll go back to the ticket. So if I go up here to settings, I want to collect their email addresses so that I can see which students submitted in case their name is wrong or there's some other problem. I want to make sure it's restricted to the students we're working with. I do not want to limit it to one response because I want to be able to keep using the same sharing link on any templates I set up. So I only have one help sheet that I'm working with, and the kids can use it on multiple templates. I'm not going to let them do any editing, and they don't need to see the summary. I don't need them to see a progress bar or shuffle the questions or anything like that. And I can just use your response. I will contact you soon to help you. And if I go under quizzes, it will allow for auto grading. I'm not too worried about that for this. I don't need them to see any kind of grade, so I'm just going to put after manual review because it's going to be just for me. They also don't need to see what questions were missed, correct answers, or point values. I'm going to click that off. And then click Save. Then you can go up here and see with the eyeball that was there what it looks like to students. And I can just click out of that. And this allows you to fancy it up a little bit. You can choose a header for your form. We'll just pick one and click Insert, and it puts it up at the top of your form, under the question side. And it also changes the theme color. You can change that however you like. You can change a background color, make it darker. Oh. And you can change the font style. There's a couple to choose from. And then you click the X. Now here's where you need to be careful what it is you're doing. Over here you could make a copy and so on. We don't really need to worry about that. When you go to send, it's going to give you some choices. If you were going to email this to another teacher, you could do it here. You want to go to the link, and it's going to prepare a link that you're going to use for that help desk button. I like to shorten them down. They're just a little easier to work with. So you have your link and you copy. So that's on the clipboard. Under I think it's under here for sharing. No. I want to make sure the sharing is okay on this. I think I need to go out. Just not seeing it. If you want people to be able to edit it, go to Add Collaborators, and you can type in other people who get a chance to edit this. Let's change the sharing on here. Here's where it was. I want it to anyone with a link can edit this. Okay. All right. So let's just go make sure I have the correct link. Their settings. I'm sorry, send, not settings. Shorten it, copy that again, make sure I have it. And then I'm going to go across the top here back to my Seesaw, click on this, and I'm going to link that, unlock it, and I'm linking it. Control V is pasting. We already copied that with Control C. All right, so now we can test this. It's actually going to take the student back and they can fill out that help desk ticket. Now across the top, I still have that form open. It keeps flipping to my, there's the one that's open. So let's go back to responses. Anytime we want to see any that are submitted, when I open this, I go to responses and I can click back here. I'm going to show you a little trick I learned. See, so their email address is going to collect the teacher's name, what subject, the names, and a timestamp so you know when that came in. If you highlight this row, right click, insert column to the right, it's going to give you a blank column. And I'm going to keep that highlighted, insert checkbox, and I'm just going to click delete on that top one just to make it pretty. And I'm going to change this heading to help student was helped. So that will allow me, as I help a student, to check it off, and I'll know exactly where I was on that list. And as more come in, I'll know where I need to start to give the kids some help. One thing I thought of adding, and I haven't quite figured it out, is for parents to put in a phone number, but I just think that's a little much at the moment. So that's how you add your little help desk ticket. And I'm just going to real quickly show you how if you had some other link to put on there. So let's say you wanted to go to a website. So I want my students to go to my website, and I have some reading libraries on there. So we have, oh, it was in the drop down. There it is. Virtual libraries that I put in. So I want the students to be able to go there. I'm going to highlight, click on this and highlight it. Control C copies that link to my website. If I come back here, I can add some text so the students know where they're going. Find a library book to read. And I'm going to shrink it down so they're going to know this goes to the library. And I'm going to link that picture. Control V again links it. And when the kids hover over this, they'll be able to go right to that website. So I'm going to go ahead and I need to click over there. I'm going to go back to the link. I'm going to take that off so it's not on the template. And just delete that. And I'm going to leave the help desk button. Sorry, I always do it on the wrong end. The help desk button, but I'm going to unlink because I don't want it going, everybody in the school to go to mine. And just click off. That's back to the first page. So that's how you create a basic template. Hopefully that was helpful.